Working Title FC. This is what happens when you get in studio to record. You go, guys, we've done all our research. We're going to do a Premier League season preview. Every team, all 20 teams. What do we call the podcast? Oh, shit. Working Title FC. But I think it's going to stick. What do we do? Like, is there at Working Title FC on Twitter?
No, but it's ours now. Whoever has it, like, we'll tell them, move over. There's a new sheriff in town.
We'll do at Working Title 69 at the worst.
Wow.
So those voices you hear, that is the all is sexual, all is sensual Senzo Setibe. Another gentleman. His best friend looks like Machine Gun Kelly, which does that make Ryan Megan Fox?
Are you trying to call me a sidekick?
Well, I've got my reservations about Machine Gun Kelly, but anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Ryan Tinline is the other man, the man in the chair. Tell us about your Machine Gun Kelly friend. Private jets, bro. Is this real? What's going on in his Instagram? His Instagram is crazy.
No, his Instagram is popping. He moves, he kind of just travels all over the place.
To do what?
He's an influencer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
Influenced me
to
wear pink suits.
He was a DJ. I think he's getting back into it now. But yeah, it just so happens his style coincides with Machine Gun Kelly, and everywhere we go.
What does he have? Style of pedophile?
Yo!
Okay, Senzo. Look,
listen, disclaimer. That is a claim against Machine Gun Kelly.
It's not a claim. He is a pedophile.
Not Ryan's friend.
Machine Gun Kelly is a pedophile.
Okay, listen. You may know sport, but you don't know music, Senzo.
No, I do. Did he not sexualize Eminem's 16-year-old daughter?
When he was 17?
No, he wasn't 17.
Okay. This is not where we want to go. As the boys chug back on their Monster energy drinks, we will accept sponsorship from any energy drink, even the stuff you buy from the robots.
Hey man, even if like it's in sachets and stuff like that, if it gives you energy, get in touch with us.
Popsuck FC. Listen, what we're doing here.
FC. Wow.
Listen, what we're doing here is all 20 Premier League teams. We're gonna bundle a couple of them together. Episode 1 was the new boys. We're calling this one the also-rans. These are the teams that they fuck their shit up. They are gone. They all skated so close to the edge last season. All of them were almost down.
But some of these teams, you look at them and you're just like, you shouldn't be here.
Listen, we're talking about Leeds. We're going to pack this one, 20 minutes. Sure. Leeds, Everton, Southampton, Villa, and Brentford. Let's start off with Leeds, because at one point, they were down last season. At one stage, they were
shouldn't
down.
have made it out.
Man, outrageous. You know, this is a thing. We spoke about episode 1. What happens when you have a manager who gets you to a certain level and then you think you should change that level, right? So Leeds had Bielsa. Listen, Bielsa, we know, runs people into the ground. That squad of his was done. This is 4 seasons.
Yeah.
4 hectic seasons with Bielsa. 3.5, right?
Yeah.
Time was done. They make the change. Jesse Marsh, Ted Lasso. Are we fair? Are we fair to call him Ted Lasso?
Yeah,
just because he's an American coach.
You can call him Ted Lasso, yeah.
Are we fair? Leeds here. Here's the thing. Almost go down, okay, playing Bielsa ball. They're going to reset, play a bit of a different style of football. But they've lost their 2 biggest players, Rafinha and Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, that's massive.
And those guys didn't kind of go to shitty clubs. They went to Barcelona and Man City. But that's the quality you're losing.
My thing is about like Phillips. Phillips, you can't begrudge it. Like he's done all he can for Leeds.
Yeah.
He's done. You won't begrudge him a move to City. I think he's deserved it, and his career trajectory speaks for itself. The problem with Leeds, right, and it speaks, and Rafinha as well. Rafinha went from being an like, you know, up and comer, could be, he's got something there, to like 50 million pounds. If you're being signed for 50 million pounds, you're no slouch.
Rafinha was always that, though. You know, he's like godson. He's Ronaldinho's godson.
Really?
How outrageous is this? His father and Ronaldinho are friends, and his father's a musician. And Ronaldinho used to fly the band over, including Rafinha when he was a kid, over to like hang out with him.
Oh, well, then maybe the whole Barca thing makes sense then.
So I don't know how much influence he had in that, but...
Are you calling him an industry plant, is what you're saying?
Jeez, this guy, look at him, music industry. Look at him. No, soccer doesn't have that.
Yeah,
right? Only your dirty music industry has that.
The tainted...
So Rafinha, when he was at Sporting, was everyone thought this guy's the next big thing. So he's always had that. Goes to Leeds. I think he's on easy street now, because will we ever know how good he is? Because a couple of good games in the Premier League, and when he is good in the Premier League, he is good.
Yeah.
Now Barcelona, and listen, you can make
Barca
a lot.
stacked though.
They stacked. So he
doesn't start at Barca.
Maybe, but
For who though?
but for Leeds to lose someone like that,
Yeah, and Phillips as well.
and Phillips, but they've recruited well. There's a couple of interesting players they've bought in, not big names, but that's kind of using the Jesse Marsh scouting network. Leeds have made some interesting signings.
My thing is about Leeds, their style of play is too, like, okay, under Bielsa it was very loose. It was
yeah.
very, very loose. And you could see. And Leeds are 2 injuries away from, if Brentford doesn't play, and
Bamford.
yeah, whoever they get to replace Rafinha/Phillips. You saw without Phillips and Brentford, like how close it was teetering. Like it was goodbye. We're going back to the championship.
So don't forget about Daniel James, the new Ryan Giggs. Let's not forget about him.
Oh yes, I forgot he's
Let's
there.
not forget about him. But you see, this is the thing why it's so difficult to judge Leeds, right? Because Jesse Marsh comes in and he comes from that Red Bull gegenpressing, this kind of like modern way Germans play.
Yeah.
But he's not going to implement that in a team that's fighting relegation. So he kind of carried on, tightening up at the back, a little bit of Bielsa ball. He can kind of adapt it just to get them over the line. Gets them over the line, moves players out. They've made a ton of money. I think their net signed, because we talk net now. Net transfers, right?
Yeah.
They've spent almost no money, bought in a nice new team. I'll get the transfers from Ryan. We'll get them in a bit. So how do we judge Leeds, right? Because everything you said is true for Bielsa.
Yeah.
But how do we know what Jesse Marsh is going to do? I think Leeds are in for, I think they're going to be stable, not going to be anything outrageous. He's going to solidify them. Jesse Marsh is a good coach.
15th, 16th.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good for them. Give us their first couple of fixtures. And, it's interesting while you look at that, because we spoke about Mitrovic being the key. Bamford is the key for Leeds, but he also can't stay fit. Yeah. And they can keep that guy fit. Suddenly they got something.
So I'm just pulling up Leeds' fixtures. Sorry, I was on Everton's one.
Their fixtures actually are, I think it's pretty all right for the first. Look, they have Chelsea as the third one.
No, so it's Leeds Wolves first. Leeds Wolves first. And then they've got Southampton away. Then they've got Chelsea at home. And then they've got Brighton. Then Everton. So
that's a good start, man.
They can back themselves. Like everything other than the Chelsea game, they can say, "Look, guys, we're going for it."
Decent first 5.
That's a good start. Listen, anything you want. In the other episode, our first episode, we spoke about having Nottingham Forest in the Premier League feels right. Having Leeds in the Premier League is right. You want them to stay there. They're one of the storied English clubs. The names Ryan's going to give you of the transfers, they're not household names. But guys in the know, the the Fabrizio Romanos of this world,
Yes.
the in the knows,
Yes.
are saying that these guys are good players.
But also, you have to if you are a Leeds fan, 1, 2, you want exactly that. Okay, we'll sell our guys off for like 50, 60 million pounds. Cool, no problem. But you are not going to replace those guys with another 40 million pound or 50 million pounds, because that is not your business model. That does not make sense. So you need
you can't play at that level.
Exactly, you can't play at that level.
Yeah.
So you need to be smart with because you've got a bit of change. Like, so what do you do as Leeds manager? Do you reinforce to make sure that if guys get injured, that we are not so thin, or do you just?
Listen, there's clever people behind the scenes at Leeds now. They got new investment that's going to keep unlocking as they achieve certain things. I think Leeds are yet to stand. I think we're going to see Leeds go from strength to strength if they make it through the season.
Exactly. Because
if they make it through.
My thing is for Leeds is that, okay, what Leeds need to do is find a balance between how to get the attack and the defense on even footing. Not that we're scoring too many goals and we're hemorrhaging at the back.
Again, you're saying that's a Bielsa problem. That's a Bielsa team. I got to say, it's like, what does Jesse Marsh do? And I think Bielsa has always been, if we concede 3, we score 4. That's the way he plays football. That's how he's going to play.
Yeah.
Jesse Marsh is a little bit different. Ryan, let's give us some of the transfers. Let's give us some of the names that their job now is to replace Rafinha and Calvin Harris.
Well, there was one
Calvin Phillips. No, it's not a DJ. David Guetta's coming in.
You like the music industry, Paulo. So there was one I saw last night. I think, is it Sonny Perkins?
Yeah.
He just came in from a free transfer from West Ham. But looking at the others, there's actually quite a few that have come in here. Kiko
Casilla.
Yep.
Oh, right. Oh, it's Spanish, right?
Yeah, Kiko Casilla, yeah.
Calder Costa.
Not bad.
Sinatera.
Okay.
T. Adams from Leipzig. There's even Mark Rocker from Bayern Munich.
So you got there. Mark Rocker. This guy he was supposed to be the next big Spanish wonder kid. Gets a little bit of an injury, holds back. The Fabrizios of this world are saying this is the guy. This guy is the real deal. They say he was at Bayern Munich for a reason.
Do you know what he's giving me airs of? Sergio Canales.
Don't do that to anyone.
No, but Canales was ruined by one idiot manager. But yeah, we all know who that guy is. But yeah,
They bought him in for 12 mil.
Yeah.
but that makes sense for Leeds, though. That makes sense for Leeds because that's what you want to do as Leeds. And also, I mean,
Christensen from Salzburg.
yeah, if you're a Leeds fan, you're looking at this and you go, oh, look, right, we've got guys who know what it is who know what it takes to play it. Like, I mean, Leipzig and Bayern Munich aren't small teams by no stretch of the imagination.
But you can see the kind of school he's buying from.
Yes,
You can see that kind of football that he wants to play.
Yes,
You know, from Leipzig, Salzburg. Just before we started this episode, Ryan says to me, geez, did you see what happened to Everton, how they lost? Frankie Lampard, again, I think you got to be phoning the TV studio and say, listen, what are you guys doing?
Honestly, that's
I'm
what I
gone
said.
by the World Cup.
But that's what I'm saying, because if Frank Lampard doesn't cut it now, okay, I'll give him some slack because he was thrown into the deep end with Everton. Fine, okay, cool. But if he doesn't cut it now, he might never get a big job ever again in football.
You know, that's a weird thing about the Premier League, right? If you follow other leagues, Italy especially, you can get fired from Lazio, you'll land a job at Inter. You can get fired from Inter, you'll land a job at AC Milan.
Yeah.
You get fired from AC Milan, you're at Fiorentina. They don't take firing a manager getting sacked as like a bad slight on you. They kind of go, oh, well, that's part of it. England is kind of goes, Lampard goes, geez, you failed at Chelsea. You failed at Everton. Now you're done. The best you can hope for is, I mean, we're talking Millwall.
Brentford.
You know, Millwall.
Yeah.
So, look, it's difficult to talk about preseason. Chelsea, Everton, have lost Richarlison.
Yeah.
I mean, and for what he was,
and
he got you out of trouble.
Exactly. And do you know much is Richarlison's goal involvement last season? 35% of all Everton's goals had Richarlison involved in them, and that's a huge chunk.
How many goal involvements did Van der Beek have?
Not enough.
And listen, man, if you're going to go into a bun fight, because that's what Everton are in. Like, listen, man, I got some Everton. I got an Everton supporter in my family. Work with an Everton supporter. Like I said, you guys are gone. I did not see them pulling themselves out of that. I thought they were done.
Yeah, same.
I thought they were done.
They need a centre back though.
They're going to turn to Dele Alli
to play centre back.
But Dele Alli's the guy going to save them. Yerry Mina, you got Yerry Mina.
Yerry Mina's always injured though.
Yerry Mina of Violence fame. You know Violence? Have you guys heard of Violence?
No.
You know Violence?
No.
You know in general Violence, when they talk about TV, there's the violence.
Yeah.
That's Yerry Mina.
Yeah,
that guy
true.
just loves the violence.
Yeah, true.
He fucking loves the violence.
I don't know. And they've got Andre Gomez. But they should move Andre Gomez along. You can see.
Andre Gomez is too classy a player and you know had a couple of weird injuries.
Yeah.
But that's not the sort of player that solidifies you.
Yes. He's a nice to have.
I'm sorry. If you are looking down your bench, you're looking at your squad, you got to put Dele Alli on your team sheet, man. And it's not 2015. You know you're in a bad place.
Yeah, that's true.
I would rather have Frank Lampard back in my midfield than Dele Alli at his age. At my age, we're same age.
But they've got the players to do it though.
Everton are in trouble.
Everton should. I think Everton are looking at West Ham. They're like, we should be there. We should be what they are.
Yeah. And they were. And listen, of course, teams can turn around, make a couple of signings, solidify themselves. I just don't think Frankie has the fight. And like you say, this is two big jobs that he's flopped out of. Next team we're going to go to, and this team, you know what? Quite frankly, I want them gone. I'm going to say it. I'll say it. I want them gone. Southampton. They've reached that point. They've reached that point of team that just are not doing anything anymore.
They become like Hull,
Middlesbrough, Villa before they got relegated.
There.
They're just there. They're not good. They're not bad. They don't win. They don't lose. They don't really draw. They're just a blob of things. They've got Hassan Hutel supposed to be the guy. I mean, if they get through a season, they got through last season without losing 9-0, that's good. But Southampton, just get out of here. I
100% agree.
I don't even want to talk about you anymore. Get out of the Premier League.
What are their fixtures, by the way?
We jumped ahead. Give us Everton's first 5.
Everton's first 5. Let me go back now. Sorry, bear with me, guys.
Do you think they're in trouble?
No, they are. I mean, especially speaking to what Paulo said. Fixtures. So, first fixture, Everton, Chelsea. Then they got Villa. Then they have Nottingham Forest. Then they have Brentford. Then they have Leeds. So, look, the fixture list isn't cruel to them.
Yeah.
It isn't cruel to them, so they should be looking to pick up points there. But I don't know. It's where do you think their season fell apart last season?
You know, it's with Everton. I don't think it's a season by season thing.
Sure.
I think it's a long term culmination of a lot of mistakes over seasons that you have.
Problem.
You know that exactly. You have
And they
squads,
had Benitez last season,
but
and Benitez is no slouch.
you had Benitez brings in a certain style of player.
Yes.
Before that, you had Koeman who had a certain style of player.
Yes.
And then you have Frank Lampard's got a certain style of player that he wants. You had Ancelotti who's got a certain style of player. None of those players move. They all stay there. Now you have to make all of that work. And that eventually is going to catch up with you. It's very similar to the Manchester United problem, but just lower down in the league where they don't have that buffer to make a mistake because they can't buy the quality to get them out of the problem. So I don't think it's a season by season thing. I think it's just one season. I think it's a culmination of mistakes. Southampton, again, why have I said their name again, Ryan? It's your job to stop me talking about Southampton.
I don't know why you're talking about them again, but I'm looking at their fixture list right now, and I think it's quite difficult. It depends on your standings.
Not
If you
really,
think United is a shambles, then it's not too bad. But kicking off for Tottenham, then you have Leeds, United and Chelsea. Chelsea's the real threat.
Cheers, Southampton.
That is a tough.
Cheers, Southampton.
That is tough.
Cheers, because
Tony Pulis is kind of checking out houses in the Southampton area.
yeah, because they're
Big Sam's like, oh, I like that, but a son.
Is Big Sam still a thing? Roy Hodgson, maybe he's like, maybe I can give this one. So, and also you look at the deals that they've done, like, I don't know, man.
Bring some of them up. Which ones?
There's nothing. Listen, and Southampton are never going to dine at the top table. They're always going to have to be quite clever in the players that they buy. But, you know, there's certain types of players that teams buy that, that's a Southampton player. Why? Because he comes from another league, kind of bit of potential, kind of like the third. Southampton aren't even shopping from second tier.
But like, if you look at the players to have come out of Southampton, like, it's unbelievable. Gareth Bale, Adam Lallana when he was a thing,
Theo Walcott,
Luke Shaw,
they had their time. They were very, very innovative for whatever reason. Because remember that Southampton had that black box. Did you ever hear about that story? They had this black box, which was kind of a server that stored reams and reams and reams of information. They set up cameras to watch all the training things, and that's where they were producing players. It was when Pochettino was there. When they basically became Liverpool's feeder club, right? And then that fell away. Again, too much about Southampton. Let's move on to Brentford, Denmark FC.
Denmark FC.
Interesting thing about Brentford, they're not changing their kit. You know, Premier League teams release a new kit every season.
Yeah.
Brentford had decided, no, we're playing in the same kit as last season. But listen, when you got red and white stripes, how can you release new red and white stripes?
There's only a certain
Hollywood Bets, I think the guy who created Hollywood Bets is their owner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Brentford. How big, Ryan? We spoke about this just before we started. Christian Eriksen, how big a difference do you think he makes out of there?
I don't think he makes much of a difference. I mean, when they brought him in, I was just happy Christian Eriksen was playing football again. I was a fan of him in the beginning. But then when I started watching him play, I was like, I think he brought up the team morale quite a bit, but I don't think they're going to miss him.
It's a quality of player that a Brentford normally don't get. And under any circumstances, 100%. Eriksen does not go to Brentford. Of course, there's a Danish connection, and they're going to give him a chance, right?
Sure.
But it just immediately showed you, so wow, this is the difference between a Premier League footballer and an elite world-class footballer. And he just showed that in spades. It would have been a great story if he stayed. But hey, listen, if the guy can still play at a higher level, and he could play at a higher level, you could see it with everything, every touch.
Yeah.
a good player is a guy who makes everyone around him better.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
exactly what I'm.
But also, I mean, you must also think of it like this. I mean, this is a guy like at Tottenham, he was doing the things. One. Then he goes to Inter. Okay, in his defense, Inter were also stacked when he went. Inter was stacked when he went.
And he battled to get in.
And he did
battled to get in the team.
to get in. And you see what he does for Denmark. And Denmark, when they got to a Euro semi-final.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Eriksen makes a difference when his heart's in it.
Oh, wow.
Give me.
Wow.
That's bad. Listen, I also got a heart thing. Let's give a couple of the fixtures there.
Okay, so they first Brentford have Leicester, then they have Man United, then they have Fulham, then they have Everton, then they have Palace, then they have Leeds.
Yeah.
No, they'll fancy themselves.
Listen, there's not a 4-0 opening day against Arsenal. I think a lot of Brentford's going to depend on where Ivan Toney goes.
Yes.
Ivan Toney's a guy who's kind of come through the leagues. Every time he has to go up a level, he kind of does.
Yeah.
But I think he's hit his ceiling. There's been a couple of links with Manchester United and Newcastle. I don't see it happening. I think he's at Brentford. But, of course, I think if he leaves Brentford, that is a big miss.
Yeah.
He's very important to the way they play.
Yeah, no, he's very pivotal. So, and do you know what normally happens? Okay, cool. Because there's a trend that's developing in the league. First season, it's either, as a newly promoted team, it's either you have a crack over season or you are going back to where you came from. Now, will the second year or second season itch hit Brentford? That's the thing.
But they landed in a good place, I think. I think they landed where they should have landed because they kind of overshot for a while.
Yeah, no,
yes, they did.
100%.
Yeah,
It was not sustainable. They landed when they're supposed to. So let's see where Brentford end out. I want to finish on Stevie GFC.
I knew you were going to bring that up. By the way, can I just ask a question? I wanted to ask this in the last episode, and I totally forgot about it.
Sure.
But in the opening, say, 3 games, do you think clubs are going to go all out, or do you think they're going to have a slow start, work the players in? Because that'll also make a difference in terms
Senzo?
of. Do you think they're going to go like let's knock it out now, or let's try some things out in the beginning?
I think you have to go for the first 5 fixtures because now if you don't go for it, right, now you've got.
Do these smaller clubs have a chance with the bigger clubs maybe taking a chance on new guys and playing around?
Okay, let me give it to you like this. Okay, you got first 5 fixtures, right?
Yes.
If you're top tier, top end of the scale, you're looking at those fixtures, you say, okay, cool. If we can collect 10 out of 15, we're good. But if you're like a bottom club and you got like hard fixtures, you say, okay, I'll take 3 or I'll take 6 or whatever. But if you get bashed 5 times in a row, that's tough to come back from.
What's going to be interesting to watch in this season is that it should be a tournament year. Players should have been coming out of the tournament.
Block's hot already.
Every squad is coming in having had a full break. A lot of the players are saying, we can't remember when we had this long a break. Now remember, we start beginning of August, first weekend of August, right? Our first 4 fixtures take us into the beginning of September.
Yeah.
Mid-September, we've had our first 5 or 6 games. 1st of November, late October, they stop for the World Cup.
Yes.
So do you
come back Boxing Day
tied? Now, what do you do as a manager? Do you go, let's get points on the board? Because we don't know how people react out of this scenario.
True. And also, there's also one big factor that you have to factor in. Transfer window only closes August 31st.
Yeah.
So do you think teams are like, well, let's just see how we do with what we've got? Because if your first 2-3 fixtures don't go well, trust me, you are going to phone whoever's in charge of that kitty and you're going to say, get me somebody right now.
I think the last few transfer deadline days, we haven't seen lunacy because it's been COVID, no fans in stadiums, no one knows
and
what.
Also, as well, the transfer window has shut once the league has started.
Yeah. This one is you have 2 or 3 bad results. Managers out, squads changing, people flying to 2 or 3 different clubs on transfer deadline day this season is going to be
wild.
It's going to be mad. Let's finish. Again, Stevie G, FC. I was so surprised when I actually took a look at the final table and I saw where Aston Villa finished. I was like, oh, but Steven Gerrard, you're ordained. How dare you finish so low? What's the big deal? What is the big deal, Stevie G? You and Coutinho came in, made a lot of noise to finish so low down. I thought you're the next Liverpool manager, which I want to see, by the way. It's got Ole and Frank Lampard written all over it.
Well,
I can't wait. I want them Because Liverpool will be making immaculate decisions for years when they make Stevie G manager.
My thing is that now, okay, do you think Stevie G is being groomed for that job? Or do you think he's thinking, okay, I don't want to do what Lampard did, like as soon as Liverpool job comes. Also,
he will take it.
Obviously
he
he'll
will
take it.
take it.
Obviously he'll take it because he knows that it might never come around again.
He will take it. Listen, there's a lot of money behind Aston Villa. It's very quiet, but they have got a lot of money behind
And also,
them.
they still got Grealish money if you think about it.
Still got Grealish money. I don't know about Villa. Listen, Stevie G, for all the hype and all the bluster and he hasn't been given a ton to spend. They've been spending okay.
Yeah.
You know, kind of.
But they let it continue.
What do you think a full season Coutinho does? Because I think it's always easy to come in like that. Like Luis Diaz to a point with Liverpool. Come in, no one really knows what to expect. You kind of like have a free-ish role to do till you settle. The second season, people play it against you now. They know what you're a little bit about. They can figure it out. What does a full season Coutinho give you?
Full season Coutinho, they've been looking for another Jack Grealish, so they're going to heap standards like that on him. And rightfully so. I mean, he's got the CV to back it up. I mean, the guy played for Inter.
Okay,
then
he's
he
got
went
the
to
CV to back it up.
Then he went to Liverpool.
Does he back it up? Or does he go, I've got my move? Because remember, he's motivated. He was motivated the last time. Loan, I want a permanent move. I want back in the Premier League.
And he got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted. Now it's like, okay, I'm comfortable. My next goal is get into that Brazil squad.
For the World Cup.
I get in that Brazil squad, probably win it, and I don't come back to England till March. This is what's happening. I'm telling you now. You heard it here first.
Actually, because there's all the motivation, because now Brazil, because you look at Brazil's like international, what's going on with them internationally, and you can see Neymar's head doesn't look like it's in it.
Well, Neymar wants the World Cup and then he's going back to Brazil, or he's going to Miami. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Neymar wins the World Cup, finishes PSG, goes to Miami.
Yeah.
Retires from football.
So,
becomes a full-time DJ. First 5 fixtures for Aston Villa. Let's go.
okay, well, they start with Bournemouth on the 6th, then they've got Everton on the 13th, then they've got Palace, then it's West Ham, then it's Arsenal. But you see, that's also not a bruising fixture list.
That's pretty good.
Get Coutinho in your fantasy team while the sun's shining.
Yes.
I've already got him in.
Get him in. That's a great start. Listen, this is Working Title FC season previews. We're here. You're there. Listen, if you want to reach out to any of us, I am at The Real PTP on Twitter. Ryan is...
I'm at Hawksley, HAWXLI.
And I'm still working titles because I deactivated my Twitter, but don't worry, I'll be back.
Deactivated means Elon made him close it.